Good afternoon. Thank you, Your Excellency, Ambassador Andrew Wilson, and good afternoon, Your Highness, Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, my dearest Ambassador Shabazz, Marie C. Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. As an engineer turned investor, and as a Latina living in a country that pays us approximately 55 cents for every dollar our white male counterparts are paid, I feel the responsibility to remind us that equally important to getting women and girls in science is making sure we have a plan to pay for it and to invest in keeping us in and ensuring we all thrive together. And to be clear, what we're doing today is not working. But let me start with the good news. And I heard some of these statistics mentioned earlier. I have some of the latest that have just been published. In the US, the reality is that women are starting businesses at twice the rate of men. And also in the US, of those businesses, 8 out of every 10 is started by a woman of color. What is also true, unfortunately, is that women get a shameful amount of financing for their companies. And while there are many forms of investing, venture capital, the only one we seem to hear much about, invested only 2.8% total into women-led businesses last year, 2019. Now, if you think 2.8 is bad, the percentage women of color got is not 1%, as I heard earlier today. It's 0.2%, 1/5 of a percentage point. Meanwhile, well, I just want to frame that too, because what that means is that the single most prolific entrepreneurs in this country are getting the absolute least. Meanwhile, one of the most important global centers for innovation in the sciences, the home of MIT and Harvard. In that city, the median net worth of Black Bostonians is $8. $8. Now, imagine rolling out a program for Black Bostonians, a program that involves distributing desperately needed resources, from capital to connections to education, far and wide, where it is most needed. But now imagine that the rules of the program require that the majority, about 75% of the recipients, will end up dropping out and bankrupt. However, the remaining 25% survive. And within that group, a handful, literally single digits, will become billionaires, like Oprah or Bill Gates. That sounds like a terrible idea, doesn't it? Especially for a community that's already struggling. It would be devastating. And yet, that is how portfolio theory works in the world of venture capital. Or as Donald Trump's friend Peter Thiel likes to call it, spray and pray. Meaning we spray the money far and wide, we bank on the majority failing, then we pray for one unicorn like Google or Facebook. Now, we don't hear about the stories of the 75% failure because the vast majority of the white male founders of companies that get venture capital have economic safety nets. They do not have median net worths of $8. Think trust funds, or affluent parents, or wealthy friends, friends who fund things like what we in our industry call the friends and family round. My proposal to you is that it's time that we evolve beyond the existing systems designed for the small minority of entrepreneurs with privilege. It's time, in fact, that we accept that the majority of entrepreneurs look like the women and girls we are fighting to find a home for in the sciences. They are immigrants, they are refugees, they are Black, they are brown, LGBTQ, they are people with disabilities. And because they are actually the majority, they do not need the world's charity. The world and the climate crisis needs them. It's critical that we move away from predatory financial models and work towards investing and investment models that build instead of extract. Women and girls will not thrive in the sciences until we in the investment world stop betting on the same tired old long shots and commit instead to use our capital the way that women have always used capital and resources to build and birth things that last. Thank you.